Let's set up a free server to use with Cleavr. One of the few VPS providers out there that provide a free server is Oracle Cloud. Be aware that once you create your Oracle Cloud account, they are going to ask for a credit card number up front. But if you just keep it to the free stuff, you should never be charged for anything. If we scroll down here, you can see a lot of always free eligible. So stick with these that are marked as always free eligible. Another thing to be aware of when you create an Oracle Cloud account is they're going to contact you quite a bit. If you provide them your email address or your phone number, they're going to email you, they're going to call you a lot. So just be aware of that. Once you have your account set up, this is the Getting Started tab right here. Scroll down a little bit where you see Launch Resources, and the first thing that we're going to do once we have our account created is create a new VM instance. So click that button right there, and you can name your instance. Let's call this one Test Instance. For image and shape, we're going to want to change the default image from Oracle Linux to Ubuntu. So let's click on Edit right here, and click on Change Image. And wait for the screen to load, and here we go right here, Canonical Ubuntu 20.04. So we're gonna select this image, and let's scroll down a little bit more. Another thing that we'll need to do is add an SSH key, so I'm gonna do that real quick here. The reason why we're gonna do this is because we're gonna have to log into the server, and a good way to do that is via SSH, and we're gonna run a quick command once we get to the Cleavr side of it to update our server. So let's make it easy and add our SSH key there. And scroll down a bit, this should be good. So let's go ahead and create. And okay, looks like it's creating on the Oracle side. So while this is running and provisioning on Oracle side, let's go back to Cleavr and get ready for it. You can already see that I have a couple servers, including an Oracle Cloud one, actually that I use quite a bit for testing. It's pretty nice. We'll click on Provision a new server, and then select the Custom Server option. And let's name this one too, we could just call it again. Well, what did I have it before? Test Instance. We'll just keep the name the same as we have it in Oracle. And then if I scroll down a little bit, I want to enter the IP. I could grab that back from the Oracle screen right here. The public IP has already populated, and oh, looks like it's completed provisioning, and now it's running too, which is good. But anyways, let's copy this IP address and then go back into Cleavr and paste it here. And then let's next actually SSH into the server. So I'm going to open up my terminal and then SSH into that server. The default server name that you need to log in as is Ubuntu. And then add that IP. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. And then once you're in there, we're going to switch user to root. And you know what? I could just do sudo switch user root. I think that's the correct one. Okay, cool. Let's grab this command from Cleavr and go back to the terminal, and we'll paste that command in and click on run. So basically this is going to add the key for Cleavr to connect to that server. And let's click on verify and provision. And now we can see that it's going to go through the steps of provisioning the server by installing some core dependencies onto it, as well as setting up some other dependencies. Okay, looks like the server has completed provisioning. It takes a little bit longer for an Oracle one. Let's see, about 3.5 minutes for installing core dependencies. I mean, I guess it doesn't look long, but I'm used to Hessner where provisioning the server is like 2 minutes. So we have it running now. The next thing that I want to do is actually within the terminal side. So back on the terminal here and SSH into my server already. I want to update the firewall. I've seen, and some other users have seen, that if you restart the server, the Oracle Cloud server, that something happens to the firewall or some settings somewhere. We haven't really figured it out actually. Something weird happens where it seems like you can't connect to it for a website, so it's blocking some kind of port 80 connection. We found a solution for that, which is, let's just go in and install Firewall D here, Firewall, and then run that. Say yes for that. And the next command here is to open up port 80. So let's run that. And lastly, we'll reload. Okay, let's go back into Cleavr here and then click into our new test instance server that we created. And let's go into the services section and just double check that We have a heartbeat for Nginx. We want to see a success message, and that's running. That all looks good. So let's go ahead and create a test site. We'll just add a static HTML one, use a temporary domain, and click on add. And we'll look at the default landing page once this completes. Okay, let's open this up. And yep, we should see the default Cleavr landing page. So this is how you could connect Cleavr to an Oracle Cloud server by adding it as a custom server and also making use of a free server provided by Oracle. I hope you enjoy.